Greetings, I'm Doc V, and we're going to talk more on African American males and their position on Maslow's need hierarchy. As I stated before, Maslow's need hierarchy is his theory that 5 basic fundamental needs exist in all human beings. First, physiological needs. Second, safety needs. Third, love and belonging. Fourth, esteem needs. And then finally, self-actualization. My dissertation topic is African American males and their position on Maslow's need hierarchy. Or let me repeat that. African American males and our position on Maslow's need hierarchy. Because I am a part of the African American community. Let's start off with something that happened to me this morning. I was on the way to work, turned on the radio, and they were talking about home sales in Georgia. And they said half of all home sales in Georgia or the metro Atlanta area are cash sales. And I'm like, wait a minute. Cash sales means you just write a check or you just take the money out of the bank, make a money order, and boom, you buy a house, $350,000, $400,000, $500,000, $500,000 house. I said, who's doing that? Turn the radio up. Guess who's doing that? Millionaire investors are going and buying up these new homes, buying up these big subdivisions, and reselling the houses to African American communities for a profit. And I thought to myself, well, slavery's over and no longer can people get rich off of the backs of slaves, but this is kind of terrible. They're buying up homes, buying up houses and reselling them to us at a higher rate. And they put incentives in and little specials in to debate us, and we come in and we're buying the house at a higher rate so we can make them even richer. This was frustrating to me. I said, what can we do to evoke change? What is going on? Why do we seem to be at the end instead of at the top? Why are we struggling with physical needs and safety needs and love and belonging? And why can't we self-actualize? Let me go back to our family. The family is struggling. The media has painted a picture as far as the type of man that a woman feels that she should marry. And it also has painted a picture for the type of woman that a man feels he should marry. Most women want a man that's tall, good looking, strong, in shape, doesn't have any kids. He's making 150, 200,000 a year. He's doing his thing. He's in the community. They just want this Superman. And then most of these men, they want the lady to be sweet, size 6 to 12, cute, can cook, can sing, making a little money on the side, very submissive and very sweet. And there's not a whole lot of that running around either. So, in summary, 80% of the men are looking for 10, 20% of the women, and 80% of the women are looking for 10, 20% of the men. Well, let me tell you something. It's worse than that. A man that makes $350,000 to $400,000 a year is approximately 1% in this country. That's 1 out of 100. A man that makes about $200,000, $250,000 a year, that's about 3%. Check the census. Check the stats, and you'll see that. A man that makes over, this is black or white, a man that makes over $100,000 a year is 10%. A man that makes 85, 90,000 a year, you're getting around 20%. So most of these women, they want that man. Most of these men want that submissive, sweet, beautiful, don't have any kids, size 6 to 8. And that is just not something that you can just go and pick off the shelf on either side. So what is conditioning our minds to make us feel like this is what we have to have? If she don't look like this and walk like this and talk like this and can sing, then I'm not going to deal with that. If she's got 2, 3 kids and a couple of baby mamas, baby daddies, I'm not going to deal with that. And then we got the women saying, well, he got to make at least $150,000 a year. He got to make at least $275,000 a year. I make $120, so he got to make something. And he don't make that. Next, you're too short. Next, he got 3 kids. Next. So people are walking around where the media has conditioned us to feel like this is what I deserve and this is what I need and this is what I have to join in my life. It's a mess out here. Am I blaming Us? No. Am I blaming women? No. Am I blaming men? No. The media is the media. It's out there to make money. It's influenced, by principalities, and it's a spiritual thing that's going on. It's a battle, and we have to understand how to cope with this ideology or this unrealistic view of what a relationship is and what it should be based on. Recently, I talked to someone. I said, I could tell you a story. Y'all know about Lifetime TV. I was telling someone, I said, Lifetime TV is rough. I can't even watch it. And the lady said, well, I watch Lifetime TV. And I sit there and watch it with my son. And I was thinking, oh, your son is a grown man. Then what is he, 23, 24 years old? She said, no, he's 8. And I was like, we can't put our children in front of this type of programming because their minds are still in the moldable state. A 25, 30, 40-year-old can watch murder, killing, rape, all kind of crazy stuff, seance, demon, all kind of crazy stuff, and like, that's crazy. Go say some prayers, Lord forgive me, and go on with their lives. But a young person that sits in front of that, where their minds are susceptible to these messages that are going into them, could get into a situation where they'll react and they'll snap based on the programming. Programming said if somebody messes with you, get a gun and shoot him. Programming says if somebody's talking about you and trying to hurt you, get a knife and stab him. Programming says if you really need it that bad and nobody's looking, go ahead and steal it. And we let this stuff get in our children's minds, and then when they get older and they're out in the street and at parties and they end up shooting somebody or getting shot or killing somebody, we're like, well, what happened? I didn't teach him that. I didn't teach Junior how to do it. Where did he get that from? Social media and programming. Let's go back to physiological needs and safety needs of individuals, and how we have to utilize the system that we're placed under to maximize our potential. In other words, there's things in place that will allow us to go to school, will allow us to get grants and loans to better ourselves, to get training. Now, everybody is not capable of going through a rigorous academic program, but there's training. There's training to work in air conditioning. There's training to work in mechanics, auto mechanics. There's training to work in construction. There's training to work as a medical assistant. There's things that we can do without just sitting there saying, I want to be rich. I want to hit the lottery. I want to marry this type of person. You got to take small steps, and you got to be realistic in your goals and your desires. Some people say, well, you put it in your mind, whatever you want to do, you can do it. And I disagree with that. I believe you have to know what your potential is. I believe if you're not born to jump up 60 inches in the air, 48 inches in the air and dunk a basketball, if that's not in your DNA, I don't care how much you work out. It ain't going to happen. Excuse my English. It is not going to happen. Okay? If you're having problems in high school, struggling with basic math, struggling with geometry, struggling with trigonometry, you don't really know how to do the integration, and it's just not coming together, differential equations and algebra and positive and negative numbers. If you can't do that, you're probably not going to be an engineer. You're probably not going to design a new type of fighter jet or a helicopter. It's not going to happen if it's not in you. You have to know your potential and know what you're good at. And God has given everybody something that they can do. You also have to be aware of the powers that are coming against you. Some people do not want you to succeed just because of your orientation, your race, your religious beliefs. They don't want you to succeed. But you have to fight with your brain and with your heart and with your spirit. Somebody might have done you wrong, might have done you terrible, and you know they did you wrong. They tried to kill you. They tried to mess your money up. They tried to hurt one of your children. And your first reaction is to get a baseball bat and fly through the picture window like X-Man and get the swinging and get the beating and get the whipping. And guess what? Somebody's going to die and somebody's going to jail. You can't go out like that. You got to use your mind. Just a few words of this song that I'm trying to put together. We are in war over systems of this world. With Christ in us, we partake in his nature. In the midst of the lost, God preserves an ark, strong in covenant. Will bring back that which once was lost. We have the victory, for it's in us the hope of glory. We have Christ in us. We must watch the way we walk and talk. We must stand as one to bring back that which once was lost. We have Christ in us, with a standard for our King. Christ in us the hope of glory. That's it for today. Thank you. I'm Doc V, and I'll see you next time.